Come on in, family. Oh, yeah. Come on, y'all. Yes. Come on in the truth session. This is this place where you can get your mind right. We will adjust it for you. We'll help you adjust it as we adjust our mind in the truth session today. Come on, y'all. Come on, JP. Tammy Green in the house, all the way from Jackson, Mississippi. Hey, Brenda Brown, a.k.a. the Chocolate Child, that's my queen. Hey, girl. Oh, yeah, Las Vegas, Nevada, in the house. Remember, you all, as you come in, please let us know where you're hailing from. Let us know where you're coming in from so that we can share this information and create this worldwide web. Come on here. So we can develop these relationships. Bam! You're in another truth session. You know, as you come in the truth session, please do what? Hit that share button. That little blue button. Hit that demonstration. And let somebody know we're on what? Live. That's right. And they're going to get some applicable information just for them this day. So let's take a minute and share. Hey, Stephanie, head of the Mars Squad. Stephanie, I hope you had an awesome birthday, solar return day. Yeah, I love you, Stephanie. Thank you for all that you do. Head of the Mars Squad, Stephanie. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom alaikum. Shalom Shabbat. Yeah, I hear you, Queen Brenda Brown, a.k.a. the Chocolate Child. Sauce in the city, baby. Check her out. She got it going on. Sauce in the city. Listen, we love you. We're just taking an opportunity in a moment to share. And then we're going to get into this just for you and for me and for us. That's right. The Truth Session. Come on, family, hit that share button. We know it's Father's Day weekend. Oh, yeah. Shout out to all the fathers. I know you've been doing a great work. Every father, I just want to say to you, keep on keeping on. Regardless of what's going on, you keep on keeping on. Because somebody somewhere right now needs you. I need you. You need me. We need each other to be a one big happy family. Come on, y'all. Hey, Kizzy. Imuna, what's going on? Hey, Lavelle. Hey, Reggie Blackman, what's going on? Oh, y'all coming on in. Come on in, family. Woo, yeah. Go ahead and share. Go ahead, that share button. Everybody, how y'all doing today? Listen, we're going to go back and we're going to deal with part 2 of what is the Lego. And those of you that weren't here, oh man, what a delight. And man, people have been hitting on it. I've been DM'd, people asking questions. Man, it is awesome. It is awesome dealing with the Lego. And I want to give you some very important information today. We're going to be quick with it. We know that it's Father's Day weekend, and we know that some of you have other obligations that you may not be in here, but you'll catch us later. Right? Remember this, that you're at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right people. And guess what? Ain't no doubt about it. Who am I? I'm your host with the most. I am the one, the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander. Coming into your eye gates, into your eardrums with 2,400 watts of power in this hour. Come on here to get you to the next level of empowerment where you need to be. Right? We're going to talk about some things here real quickly. If you weren't with us in last session, it's okay, because you can go to my Facebook page and pick it up and get brought up to speed after this session. But I promise you, there's going to be some information that is released to you that somewhere in your thought processes. You've already contemplated, but you didn't know what it was or what to do with it. Today, I submit to you, you're going to find out what it is and what to do with it. Is that okay? So we're going to get into this here in just a minute. We want to shout out all of the fathers today. Once again, happy Father's Day to you. Continue your journey. Stay connected. Regardless of what's going on, stay connected to what's going on. Fathers. And then as we are great fathers, we shout out the mothers to our fathers. This is my opportunity to shout out the mothers to my children. Deborah and Kaya, thank you for my daughter Latasha Nichelle Clay. Sandra Hughes, thank you for Michaela. And 2 grandchildren I have by my daughter Michaela, Angel and Jovian. Thank you, Lucy Reese, for Jeff. Thank you, Miss Akiko Clay. Thank you for Hananya, Lysadia, Saraya, Karaya, Chametya, Melchizedek, Kutura, Yeremia, Elisheba, Hadessa. Gratitude. Dr. Tamika Bray Boy, thank you. Faelia, Khalid, Anwar, Hassani, Ibn Komir. Shout out to you all, but happy Father's Day to me. Yeah! Shout out to my staff. None other than the master teacher, the quantum shifter, the shape shifter, the code breaker, baby. Happy Father's Day. Shout out to none other than the Prince of Peace himself, J.P. Hall. Happy Father's Day. And shout out to my own, very own father, Jeff Clay Jr. Happy Father's Day. And to all of my uncles, happy Father's Day. And shout out to my brother Lester Hampton. Happy Father's Day. And to every male, or to my head and not my heart, if I didn't mention you, happy Father's Day. I love you all. Yeah. And those of you that are celebrating your day of entrance, your birthday this month, shout out to you. Happy birthday. Yes, we love you all. Guess where you at? Yeah, you in the truth session. Thank you, Prince of Peace, for your donation. All right, y'all. Guess what we getting ready to do? Y'all know what we getting ready to do. Yeah, now we get ready to set that what? Area Taylor. I hear you. We're always on point. Trust me. We're getting ready to set our frequency, and we're going to move into this. Oh, my sergeant at arms is here. What's up? One of my daughters, longtime daughters, been with me for over 20 some years, Kiana Etheridge. What's going on? Let's just set this frequency, and we're going to get on into this, and I'm going to move you through this. I'm not going to hold you. I just want to give you some information that's going to be very powerful to you and for you. And we're going to be dealing with what is a Lego again, part 2. Okay? So let's set this frequency. Y'all ready, Prince of Peace? You ready, Master Teacher?
Yes, sir.
You ready, KD?
Yes, sir.
For whom the bell tolls. Yes, we call to order now, the truth session. We call it into order. We call to order now the Most High Ones, Ima and Abba, Yah and Wah, the ascended masters, the noble ones, the elders, the ancestors, the apostolic prophetic. We call into order the divine ones, the seers, the hearers, the healers, the advisors, the readers, the coaches. We call into order the psychologists, the sociologists, the psychiatrists. We call all into order this day in the truth session. Master Teacher, give me some low cymbals, some low cymbals. Come on, family, come on, family. Come on, family. Come on. All right, family. I think we sufficiently, of course, have set our frequency. And let's move into this. I'm not going to keep you long. I just need your attention so we can move into this. We had a very powerful time in last session. Master Teacher, if possible, can you pull up that scripture or text that we use? In the beginning was the Word, for the Word was with God, for the Word was God. We dealt with that, family. We were talking about, of course, like I shared with you all, what is a Lego? And we dealt with the word Lego, didn't we? Yeah. Lego. Now, what we know, possibly most of our children have at some point dealt with what? Legos, haven't they? We know that Legos are what? Building what? Building blocks that you use to do what? Build things from where? Your what? Your mind or your imagination. Which is what realm? Say it again. It is the theta realm. So when you get into the Lego realm, you're getting into the theta realm, because the theta realm is where we create. We do what? Create. Say it again. Create. We create. It is the creative realm. The what realm? Creative. Theta realm. But the theta realm can't be built except you understand what? What Legos are. Yeah. Talk to me. It's okay. Y'all know we use the talkback system. Okay, so what we dealt with was, in the beginning was the Word. In the Yakanan, the first chapter, we dealt with that. You call it John, St. John's. But we dealt with that in terms of, in the beginning was the Word, for the Word was with God, for the Word was God's. Okay? And then we found out that particular word, and it's out there, should be online. It should be, look under when the teacher shall appear. Is that right? Yes. Are y'all with me? I need y'all to hit those emojis. Send those emojis down through there, okay? So, but the word Lego is the root word in what? In the word Logos, right? And we found out that the word Logos means a what? A plan. So we can simply say, in the beginning was a plan. For the plan was with God, and the plan was God's, right? It was a plan. It was a plan. There was something, somebody say it for me. Blueprint. There was a blueprint. The Greeks have a name for it. And it means the first one. The first one, or the first what? Plan. The first plan included you. You were included in the first plan. You are what's important. And I can't overemphasize this. To get you to understand the importance of you. That nothing can be done without you. God can be as powerful as he or she is, but there powerless without nothing can be manifest, what?
Without you.
Say it again.
Without you.
Without you. So while you're throwing up all of the praises and heaping up all the praises, and you're saying to yourself that if I don't give him praise, then he's going to strike me down. But there is no manifestation without who?
You.
God can be as great as God is, but there is nothing going to what?
Manifest.
Without who?
Without you.
Without
You.
without.
You.
I'm trying to get you back into the orientation of who you are, because it's very important. There is nothing that's going to happen in the earth realm without you becoming who you're supposed to be, because you are the
YOUniverse.
Say it again.
The YOUniverse.
Because you are the, say it again.
YOUniverse.
Okay, so what's the prefix?
You.
So who's most important?
You.
All right, because it is you who is writing the,
Verse.
say it again. Oh, it is you who is writing the verse, because you're getting ready to what? Manifest. That's why there's an uptick in what we're referring to as the conscious community, because they're getting into, say it again, manifestations. However, manifestations cannot come about without say it.
Thoughts.
Thoughts equal
Words.
so. Okay, so then what we're going to have to realize is that nothing is going to happen without.
Without words.
Okay, so again, also in the conscious community, as we refer to it, is an uptick in what we call what? Affirmations.
Yes.
Affirmation means to,
Affirm.
say it again,
Affirm.
it means to
Affirm.
affirm. Now, we understand it prophetically to affirm affirm means to actually do what?
To decree.
Say it again.
To decree.
Decree. To decree a thing. When we're affirming, we are decreeing. And the thing about when you decree a thing, it cannot not do what you told it to do. Right? That was a double negative, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
A double negative always means a what? A positive, right?
Yes.
So, it cannot not do what you sent it to do. It cannot return to you void, because you decreed it by your what?
Your words.
Say it again.
Your words.
Okay. So in the beginning was what? Word. Because of,
Thoughts.
say it again.
Thoughts.
Because of thoughts. Thoughts is the what?
Cause of it all.
Say it again.
Cause of it all.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thoughts are the cause of it all. Nothing happens without what?
Thoughts.
Thought. Nothing happens without thought. You must have a thought, whether it be a good thought, a not so good thought, or whether it be a confused thought. You are still thoughting. Thinking, as we call it, can only happen when you have what? Thought. You can't think without what? Thought. So, thought is based off of what? Information does what? Information equals what? Words. Oh, isn't that interesting? Look at that. Look how we're building this. Because what I'm doing is I'm actually restructuring your mind, because our mind has been, say it again, tampered with. And the tampering has caused what? Your programming has tampered with your what? Enneagramming. Your programming is what? Information, right? Programming is where information is, and that information is transferred to your enneagramming. Your enneagramming is the mechanism that takes that information and do what? Manifest it. Manifest it, excuse me. If, okay. You gonna keep on, huh? Okay, now, so your programming is where your information comes into, right? And then it sends it into the innermost parts of your gramming, the innermost parts of it, where your elements are, where your pineal or your pineal gland is placed, right? Okay. Isn't that something? Okay, let's go a little farther. I'm not going to keep you long. Just want you to follow the stages of what I'm doing with you. Is that okay? Okay. Now, okay, when we start dealing with words, right? Are you with me? Words are created by what?
Letters.
Words are created by, say it again?
Letters.
What do letters do?
Create words.
Say it again?
Create words.
Create words. What do words create? It creates. Okay, so we understand all of this is motivated by what word that comes from? Thoughts, right? Because now thoughts deal with what? Signs and
Symbols.
say it again?
Symbols. Signs and symbols.
Signs and symbols, but it was something else you said. What was it?
Information.
Information. Signs, symbols, and what? Information come from where? Ultimately from the thoughts. And thoughts create what? Words create. These letters gonna do what? Create words. Words gonna create what? Sentences. What are sentences? Sentences are those which creates ideal and thought, right? What do they have in them? Adjectives, nouns, and subject and a verb. Subject and a verb, so that you can get the what?
Understanding.
Say it again.
Understanding.
So that you can get the understanding, so that you can ultimately do what? Understand. So that you can overstand, so that you can surround stand. Ultimately, you're going from understanding to surround standing. Why do we say surround standing? Because if you have surround sound in your home with your television, it's different from just sound.
Yes, sir.
Surround sound encompasses your entire being to the point that it's under your feet, it's over your head, and it's side of you and in the back of you. So it does what? Surround you. So you're receiving the full what? Frequency and vibration. See, you can't get to the apex of what you're doing until you feel the fullness of it. You just can't overstand it, because in your overstanding, you're only viewing from a certain vantage point. But when you're surrounded by it, now you are what? Experiencing the fullness of the frequency, the vibration, the sound, the light. Everything is coming where? To you. Are you listening? Yes, Kizzy. Words are spells. Okay, so letters create what? Words, right? Words create what? What do sentences create? Para. Paragraphs, right? This is what letters create words, words create sentences, sentences create paragraphs, and paragraphs do what? Create a what? Say it again. Oh. Oh. It creates a what? Okay, a body is the development of what?
Initial thoughts.
Right? The initial thoughts. Thank you, Master Teacher. Thank you, KD. Thank you, JP. So, look at this. So, thought is based upon what? Letters. Letters create what? Words. Words create sentences, and sentences create what? Paragraphs, and paragraphs will create what? The body of or thoughts, right? Isn't that interesting? So everything starts out as in a singular form and develop because it becomes pregnant within itself. Your thoughts become what? Say it. Yeah, they do what? Katie? They become what? Pregnant. Why are they becoming pregnant? Because they're in your what? Say it again. In your mind. What's in your mind? Isn't that something? Thoughts are in your mind, right? What is the Hebrew word for mind? Beitan, which means the what? Womb of the what? Of the mind. So if your mind is a womb, Beitan also means, we said it already, it means what? Mind. So in the womb of your mind is where you birth out, right? What? Thoughts. Say it again.
Concepts,
Ideals. What else? Concepts, and so forth, etc. And on and on. But here's where we come into conflict. Where we come into conflict is when we have What? Say it again.
Misinformation.
When we have misinformation, when someone gives us information that's off, what happens? It knocks our frequency off.
Yes.
It gives us the wrong what? Vibration. And it creates what? What? Conflict and confusion. So we got to get back to the what? Proper information. The correct what? Information. Are y'all with me?
Yes.
How we doing, family? Y'all good? Am I making sense to you? All right. Kizzy says, para in Spanish means for you and or stop so we can have things meant for us, or we can stop things meant can't see it, meant for good or for bad. Okay. Gratitude. Let me get that right, because I chopped that up a little bit. Para in Spanish means for you, and our stopped so we can have things meant for us, or we can stop things meant for good or bad, and mean good or bad. Got you. Okay. What's up, cousin Jackie Martin? Jackie Morton, that's my first cousin. Kissy said yes, spells are words. Remember, fam, there is a call-in number, 318-493-9595, if you want to speak or be on air with the one. If you have a thought you want to share with us. Oh, Kissy said I misspelled a little. Okay, we got you. Okay. Now, so let's get back to this. What? Lego. Lego does what? Builds. What? Things. So Lego actually is building your what? Building your thought. Okay? Now, this is important, and I'm harping on this because I'm doing this on purpose, because I'm speaking to a portion of your brain to bring it back into alignment with you so you can accomplish what it is that you're supposed to accomplish, right? All right. So now, remember what we started out with. In the beginning was the word, for the word was with God, and the word was God. Or we know that word means plan. Not only does it mean plan, P-L-A-N, but it also means a message. It means that thought that is written, okay? So there's a number of things that it really means. And you really have to do an in-depth search on this to really grasp it, but I'm giving it to you so that you can have it. And you can go back and go over this information again and again and again and get what you need out of this information, okay? Now, where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this, so in the beginning, everything, or in the beginning is the word, right? For the word was with God, for the word was God. But the crazy part about it is that here's what we say, right? Now, but I'm teetering this, I'm putting it under stick with me. I'm putting this under programming, okay? Because it's important. Okay? So we say God. God is one, right? What do we say? We say God is what? One. Create everything by himself, right? Which is what? Impossible. Okay, I know I'm going to get pushback. It's okay. But so we say God is one, so he created everything by himself. That's right. I'm getting ready to realign your mind and put you on the right frequency and the right vibration. But all of this is through programming that's messing with your enneagramming to get you to believe that God is one and created everything by himself. That is impossible. Without having to go there, you can go and study for yourself later on. It says that God created man in his image and after his likeness, and created he both what? Male and female. Catch what I'm saying to you, because I'm going to go somewhere else with it. So God created both male and female, right? He created man after his image. But then also in another verse it says, let us create man after our image and after our likeness created he both male and female. What did he do? He created, y'all stick with me because it's going with where we're going with this. He created male and female created he. But here's the operative phrase. The operative phrase was let what?
Let us.
Let us. Is that a plural form?
Yes.
Right? He says, let us. If you read the text says what?
Let us.
Let us. Hold on one second, family. Let me get some of this water. Okay, so he said, let us do what? Let us make what? He said, let us make them, right?
Yeah.
Not only did he use the word make, but he also used the word what? Create. Let us make man after our image and after our likeness. And then he created. What did he do? He created both male and female, but he said what? Wait a minute. He said what? Let us do what? Create. Let us make them what? Male and what? Female, right? Okay. So when you look at this, let us is plural. That means that it's somebody right there with him. Yeah, but say it again. It's more than one. Isn't that something? So it's more than one at the time that he's speaking. Now here's the interesting thing, because you got to catch what I'm getting ready to say to you. So he says, let us do what? Create. Let us make man after our image and after our own likeness, and then created he both what? Male and female, right? Let us create both male and what? Female. So it is obvious then, whoever was standing next to him had to be a
Female.
Say it again.
Female.
Had to be a female. Because when he created, out popped both what?
Male and
Male and what?
female.
Female. Isn't that interesting? That's interesting. You got to catch this. So it says, let us create after our image and after our own likeness, created he both male and what? Female. So now, what that is telling us is that there was nothing that was created without the, say it again, without the female. Because this phrase reveals that fact, that it says, let us. Let us. So in essence, what is being said here, let us do what? Copulate. Let us copulate and do what? Create and bring forth what? And what? That's why he had to say let us. It's denoting that we're coming into relations to be able to do what? Bring forth. Or what? Manifest or do what?
Create.
There we go. Create. Doesn't this make more sense? So it's saying, let us, as we are, bring forth like unto us. Okay. Now, let's make farther sense of this, and I'll get you out of here. All right, let's make a little bit farther sense of this, because it's important, right? So, now we see both male and who?
Female.
Come forth, right? What is the root in female? What is it?
Fetus.
Say it again.
Fetus.
Fetus, right? The root word in female is, say it again?
Fetus.
Fetus. So that means that is the male that does what?
Carry the fetus.
That carries the fetus, right? Who is it carrying the fetus?
The female.
Yes. Isn't that something? Look at the word fetus. What is the root in there? Us. The female is the one that is responsible for the what?
Family.
Us. The us is the,
Family.
are y'all with me? Y'all following me, family? Stick with me. I'm almost about to quit. I know you don't want me to stop right now. Kizzy says, even in the Bible, Jesus Christ says we are going to do greater works than him. That is correct. Yes. Okay. So y'all following me so far? Okay. Now, so let's dispel something. Give me 1 second, family. Haploid. Women, sisters, queens, empresses. Y'all should know what this is, a haploid, right? Now, so what we have to understand then, what a haploid is. And the reason why I'm saying that is, let's go back. I want to go back. Let's go back to the word one. It says that God is one. He in and of himself did all of this because he is what?
One.
One. Right? You have to understand the Hebrew text, because the word one doesn't mean what the word one means in the English. It doesn't mean that it is one thing. It is the Hebrew word what? Say it again. It is the word echad that means to be all together or alike. So in the beginning, we were all together what? Alike. Because there was both what? Male and, say it again.
Male and female.
Male and female. There could not have been any existence without both what? Come on. Male and female. So the only conversation that could be held was between what? Male and who? Male and female. Wasn't talking about no angels. What the church is trying to convince you is that, oh, he was talking to the angels. Okay, so the angels, wait a minute. He didn't create angels? How did he create the angels? Because all of it takes what? Energy. Energy is comprised of, let's do this again then. Energy is comprised, E-N, right? Right?
That's right.
E-R, right?
Yes, that's right.
Right? Gynecologist. So if you take energy and break it down, and it comes out of the, it comes out of one of the oldest languages called what?
Sanskrit.
All right. Now, so E-N equals what? I-N, to enter into. E-R is is where who came from? Abram or Abraham. Abraham was considered to be the what? The father of what? Many nations. So he was the father. So represents GY is the root in what? Gynecologist, which represents what? Say it again.
Female.
Female. So an energy is both what?
Male and female.
Say it again.
Male and female.
Male and
Female.
so it is impossible to have energy without what? Male and female. There is no such thing. The male or the masculine energy did not do anything without the feminine energy. You can fix it up any kind of way you want to, but let's go back to something. Okay? And I'm through. Wait. Let me put something else on it. Okay. It takes two what?
Helploids.
Say it again.
Helploids.
Okay. One haploid has within it what? 23 what? Chromosomes. Say it again. Chromosomes. So in order to create, what has to happen? 23 has to come from where?
Male.
The female, and 23 from where? The male. Is that correct?
Yes.
These are referred to as what? Haploids. Say it again.
Helploids.
Which is what? Fact. Correct?
Yes.
We know for a matter of fact that two haploids will equal a what? A diploid. A diploid becomes what? It becomes what? It becomes one. But you can't get one. Great, say it again. So it takes both the male and the female to make what? So in the beginning it was actually what then? Two equals Are y'all listening to me, family? Women, the only way that you can bring forth is that you done with that male done created a what? A diploid. It takes two to make one. Two equals one.
Yes, sir.
Are y'all with me? I'm messing with your brain cells, but I'm putting them back online and aligning and realigning you so you become one with the universe and the universe could begin to speak to you. That's what's up. Okay. All right. 46. You look at 4. One of the meanings for the number 4 is what?
Creation.
Say it again.
Creation.
Creation. 6 is one of the meanings for 6 is the number of who?
Man.
It does some. It takes 23 to come up with 46 to be able to create man. And so then if you have male, right? Fetus. Right? And then you have the male. 46 will get you the male that carries the fetus and then the male that has the pudendus. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, look how that add up. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. All right. Whew. Now, I was going to take you somewhere else, but I'll get us off. I'm not going to go there. Okay, so now when we get to Lego, Logos, and then what? There it is, logic. Logic deals with what? Say it again. That are gathered through what? Observation. So that means that basically everything that is being built through what we talked about, through the Logos, through the Lego, through the Logos that equals or gets us to logic, that ultimately brings us to what? Fact. Fact is that which is observable, which is why we coin
Yes, sir.
as a what?
Matter of fact.
Matter of fact, right? Now, let me show you how we get off again. Let's deal with logic, right? Logic would be if A, then B, then C, right? If A, then B. And then if B, then C. Let me show you how we get off. Because have you ever noticed that some people will want to get to C without going to B?
Yes, sir.
But what happens if they skip B to go to C? Whatever's in B will be missing.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to cause again Conflict and confusion. Why? Because you skipped the what? Process. Because whatever's in A, logic would tell us then, right, Master Teacher?
Yes, sir.
It's also going to be in what? In B. And what is in B is also going to be in what? In C. But here's the thing. But what is also in A is going to be in B. And A ultimately gets to what? C without ever mating with C because it went through the proper what? Process.
Yes, right.
Are y'all listening to me, family? So what do they do? What do the system do to us? The system messes with our programming by causing us to skip. For example, some children are allowed to skip what? Grades.
Right.
Well, the thing is that you didn't get what was in that grade.
Right.
Whether you were still able to ascertain the information, you didn't get the experience.
Yes, sir.
Ah.
Yes, sir.
So what are we ultimately missing? Experiences. The experience that turns us into the next one of ourselves. It's like, for example, a butterfly. A butterfly cannot go from a caterpillar to a full-grown butterfly. A caterpillar must go through what? It must go through what?
Transformation.
Okay, so it must move from a caterpillar to a what? Pupa to get to a butterfly. To ultimately get to a butterfly. So if it skips the pupal stage, what happens? It never reaches the butterfly stage because during the pupal stage is when it's being prophetically spoken to. It's being told that you are a butterfly. It's being told that you need to grow antennas. It's being told that you need to grow what? Wings. It's being told all of these things why it is in hypostasis, why it's in a dormant stage, and it cannot skip because if it does, it's going to come out looking like something else and it won't be a butterfly.
Yes.
Okay? So what's happening to us? Some of us are not who we claim to be because we've skipped the process of Lego building. This is the season and place and time for you to Lego build. Build your thoughts. Download information that's applicable to what your purpose is so that you can begin to take your journey in the proper way. Right? So you have all the essentials that you need to help you along your journey. Yes. And family, guess what? I've come to that place in space and time where I must say what? Hold what you got. Muse over it. Cogitate upon it. Ponder on it. Meditate on it. But by all means, do what? Govern yourselves accordingly. One love. Eternal light. eternal love, peace, prosperity, and good health. Shalom Aleichem, Mishpekah. You've just finished up another truth session with truly yours, the host with the most, the one, the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander. Woo!